who seek the Lord like no good thing. The lions may grow weak and hungry. The lions may grow weak and hungry. Yeah, yeah. The lions may grow weak and hungry, but those who seek the Lord like no good thing. Hey.
All things work together for the good of those who love the Lord. Yes, all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord. All things work together for the good of those who love the Lord. Yes, all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord. All things work together for the good of those who love the Lord. Yes, all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord. All things work together for the good of those who love the Lord. Oh yeah!
Psalms 34:10. 34:10.
Carl? Are you okay? Why aren't you talking? This is basically a talk show. You have to talk. Oh no.
Welcome to Grow TV. Introducing your host, Carl. And your co-host, Cassie. Where we learn, where we grow, and we talk about Jesus. Once again, welcome to Grow TV.
So apparently Carl isn't talking today, so we have to figure out something to do. How about Mad Lib? Mad Libs are like stories we get to make up as we go. So I'll read the words we need, and you can fill in the blanks with whatever words you want. Right, you can't talk, so maybe we can act out the words? All right. Okay, so I need a name of a person. Is that T? Okay, I'm guessing the Queen of England? All right. Okay, give me an adjective, a word to describe something. Smelly, stinky, farty. All right, that's pretty weird. I think we need another adjective and a noun, a person, place, or thing. Wait, I don't know what I'm guessing yet. Flappy pumpkin? All right. All right, so now we need another adjective and a noun. Grumpy tree? Okay, last one. Give me a verb, an action. Skip? All right, let's hear the story you made. Once upon a time, the Queen and I went to the park. On our way to the farty park, we saw a flappy pumpkin on a bike. We also saw a big grumpy balloon tied to the tree, so we skipped home.
Pumpkins can't ride bikes.
Well, look at you, you can talk.
I know, I just couldn't hold it in any longer.
Well, why weren't you talking in the first place?
Well, Cassie, I messed up this morning.
You did? How?
Well, my mama told me to clean up my room this morning and, well, I didn't want to.
Yeah, I don't feel like cleaning my room sometimes either. So what happened?
Well, I said a bad word.
Really? What did you say?
Well, when she told me to clean my room, I said, no. I know.
Did you get in trouble?
A little.
Wow, you didn't choose the right word, did you?
I sure didn't. And that's why I wasn't talking. I figured if I don't talk, I won't make the same mistake and say the wrong word again.
Yeah, I get that, but I think there's better ways to go about it.
Really? How?
Well, think back to the time when King Solomon had the right words for those two women that were fighting.
Oh yeah, those two women that lived in the same house and both had brand new babies.
Yep, but unfortunately, one of the babies didn't live. But instead of telling the other woman, the lady switched the babies and took her friend's kid who was still alive.
Man, that's really sad. But also kind of messed up.
Yeah, so when the mother woke up, she was so sad because she saw her baby wasn't living anymore. But she looked closely and realized it wasn't her baby, it was her friend's. But the other mother wouldn't admit what she had done, so they went to the King Solomon.
Yeah, then King Solomon said to split the baby in two and give each half to one of the women, which is pretty weird and kind of terrible.
It is weird, but Solomon really didn't want to hurt the baby. It was a test. You see, the real mother of the living child begged King Solomon not to harm the baby, and she said it would be okay if the child went with the other woman, if it meant her child could live.
So that's how he knew he was telling the truth. Holy moly, Solomon is super wise.
He sure was, and the only reason he was so wise is because he asked God for wisdom, and that gave him the right words to say.
So you're telling me that we can ask God for the right words?
Yes, I'm also telling you that's our big idea.
No way! Today's big idea is we can ask God for the right words.
So say it out loud on the count of 3. 1,
2,
3.
we can ask God for the right words! All right! We did it! Sounds good! Thanks for helping me understand, Cassie. That was a great story. Don't you think so? Cassie? She's not talking. Oh, because the words thing. I was doing that earlier. Okay, she's not going to say anything, so see ya. Bye.
Hey Burnett families, and welcome to week 3 of our series, How to Have Wisdom. If you remember, our first week was that wisdom comes from God, that's right. And last week we talked about how God can be trusted, that's right. And as you know, today is all about how I can ask God for the right words. But before we get into that, we're gonna have a little fun with the game Charades, kind of like they were doing on our episode of Grow TV. So I am going to act out some silly things, and you're gonna see who in your house can guess what I'm acting first. Let's have some fun. Well, today's story again is about King Solomon and how he asked God for the right words in a really tricky situation. Let's check it out.
Hey kids, how's it going? We have something really important to talk about today. Are you ready? We're talking about words. Did you know that the words we say are important to God? So are the things we choose not to say. Has your mom or dad ever asked you to do something, like clean up your toys, and you said no instead of yes? Or has anyone ever said something that made you feel bad? See, our words are important. King Solomon, the wisest man who ever lived, knew this was true too. As king, he had to make a lot of hard decisions. One day, two women came to him very angry. They were fighting over a baby. They both said the baby was theirs, but that was impossible. Solomon knew one woman wasn't telling the truth, but he wasn't sure how to make the wise choice. Solomon thought and thought and thought. He prayed and prayed and prayed. And finally, God gave him the wisdom he needed to make the right decision. Solomon spoke to the women and solved the problem. The baby went home with his mom, and the whole kingdom was amazed at Solomon's wisdom. Just like Solomon asked God to help him say the right words, we can ask God for the right words too.
Well, I want to help us understand how important the words that we speak are. And so I have this shaving cream here, and I want us to pretend that this shaving cream are all the words that we speak. So they come out of us, throughout the day we say lots of different things. Here's all the words that we speak in a day to our friends or to our parents, or maybe at school or at home. We say lots of different words during the day, don't we? So there are all the words that you've spoken today or yesterday. Now I'm going to try and put this shaving cream back into this bottle. Do you think it's gonna work? Probably not. Let's try. Okay. Ugh. Well, in case you didn't notice, it didn't work. I couldn't get the shaving cream back into the bottle. It just created a great big mess. And you know what? Our words are like that. After we speak them, we can't take them back. We can go and we can apologize to somebody, but we can never actually put the words back in our mouth and pretend that we never spoke them. And oftentimes the words that we speak, they can be hurtful. Even after we apologize, they can still linger and they can still remain hurtful to somebody inside their heart. And so it's so important that we ask God for the right words to say, especially in a hard situation where we might be angry at somebody or upset about something. It's so important that we ask God for the right words to say, and that can help us to make a wise choice.
If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask God. Let him ask God. If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask God. Let him ask God, who gives generously to all without reproach, and it will be given to him, given to him, given to him. Yeah! Let him ask God. Let him ask God. Let him ask God. Let him ask God. If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask God. Oh, let him ask God. If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask God. Oh, let him ask God.
Who gives generously to all without reproach, and it will be given to him, given to him, given to him.
Oh, let him ask God. Let him ask God. Let him ask God. Let him ask God. Yeah.
James 1:5.
Let him ask God. Let him ask God. Let him ask God. Let him ask God.
All right, well, it is time for us to grab our Bible. So if you don't have your Bible with you, I want you to pause this video, run and get your Bible, come on back and hit play. We are going to be seeing if we can find a Bible passage in 30 seconds or less. So the Bible passage you're looking for is Proverbs 21, verse 23. Go! Here it is in my Bible, Proverbs 21, and then verse 23 is right here. It says, "He who guards his mouth and his tongue keeps himself from calamity." Well, I have this kind of cool sword here. This is my husband's sword, actually. And you know what? We don't see very many people walking around with swords these days, do we? But in Bible days, certain people definitely had swords, especially people who were guarding something. So for instance, somebody who was guarding a city gate, they would definitely have a sword, because it was their job to make sure that certain people stayed out of the city and that certain people were able to stay inside of the city. And you know what? This Bible passage that we're talking about, it talks about guarding our mouth and our tongue. And what it's really saying is that there are certain words that we want to make sure we don't speak. We want to keep them in. And there are certain words that we want to make sure that we do speak, that we do say them. And I think you guys probably know what I mean by that. There are words that are good to say and there are words that are not good to say. And we want to make sure, just like somebody who is guarding a gate in Bible times, making sure that certain things stay in and certain things stay out, we want to do the same with the words that we speak. We want to guard them carefully, because just like we learned with the shaving cream, once they come out of our mouth, we can't take them back. And so it's important that we are very careful that we guard what we speak. So we know that there are things that we shouldn't say that sometimes we do say, and we also know there are things that we should say that sometimes we don't say. And sometimes it's a lot easier to know the things that we shouldn't say, like we probably shouldn't say you're stupid or you're ugly or shut up. We know those things are not good things to come out of our mouth. But sometimes it's a little bit harder to know what kinds of things we should say. And so what I want you to do now is I want you to spend a few moments thinking about 3 good things that you can speak to people in your life this week. So it might be something like, you are doing a good job. Or it might be, I love you. Or it might be, I'm really proud of you. Think of 3 things that would be encouraging things that you can speak this week. And then write them down and put them somewhere where you're going to remember. Now here's the challenge. I want you to say these things not just to people that you would normally say them to, like maybe your best friend or your mom or your dad. I want you to challenge yourself to say them to maybe some people who wouldn't expect to hear them from you, like maybe your little sister or your older brother, because sometimes our words can be really powerful when people don't expect us to say those things. We expect our mom or our dad to encourage us, but we don't always expect our brother or our sister to say something like, I'm proud of you. And that can be a really powerful time to use your words. And so write down 3 ways that you can be encouraging with your words this week, and then put them somewhere you're going to remember them, and then do it.
Don't let anyone look down on you because you are young. But set an example for the believers. Don't let anyone look down on you because you are young. But set an example for the believers. Let's speech in life, in love, in faith and in purity. In speech, in life, in love, Timothy 4:12. One more time. Say, 1 Timothy 4:12.
Well, before you go, make sure you spend a few moments working on this month's memory verse. I hope that you guys make wise choices this week, and I hope that you remember that we can ask God for the right words to help us. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.